Welcome back to our channel, Soap Opera Enthusiasts. Today is a fantastic day to dive deep into the glamorous, cutthroat world of Los Angeles fashion. Grab your favorite beverage and settle in as we unpack the latest explosive developments that are about to shake the very foundations of Forrester Creations. The fashion world of Los Angeles is no stranger to seismic shifts, but the impending storm brewing between the Logan sisters and the Forrester dynasty promises to be unprecedented. The glittering halls of Forrester Creations have long served as a brutal battleground for power, inflated egos, and family legacy. Recently, the tension has reached an absolute boiling point, particularly concerning the marginalized figures who have poured their creative genius into the company, only to be callously cast aside. At the very epicenter of this brewing hurricane is Brooke Logan Forrester, a woman whose unwavering loyalty and fierce ambition have been repeatedly thwarted by the very man she loves and his fiercely territorial daughter, Steffy Forrester Finnegan. The dynamics of respect and authority are fracturing, setting the stage for a revolution. Despite her relentless, impassioned efforts to secure the co-CEO position and elevate her standing within the company she helped build, Brooke has been met with nothing but condescension and outright rejection. Ridge Forrester's ultimate, cowardly decision to side with Steffy, thereby cementing his daughter's absolute authority, was a devastating blow to Brooke's professional pride. The consolation prize he offered, a custom couture dress designed by his own hands, was not received as a romantic gesture, but rather as a deeply patronizing insult. It was a glaring reminder that within Forrester Creations, she is viewed merely as a beautiful muse, not a corporate mastermind. Furthermore, Brooke's desperate attempt to salvage her standing by sending Steffy a diplomatic text message only highlighted her agonizing subjugation under the oppressive Forrester regime. Watching this humiliating spectacle unfold from the outside with a keen, analytical eye is Katie Logan Spencer. Katie, who is currently riding the euphoric high of a massively successful global fashion launch alongside the formidable Bill Spencer, possesses a razor-sharp business acumen and a deeply empathetic understanding of her older sister. For weeks, Katie has grappled with her own internal demons, agonizingly questioning whether her aggressive corporate maneuvers were subconsciously driven by a toxic, 20-year-old vendetta against Brooke for stealing Bill. However, as Katie astutely observes the blatant disrespect and systematic marginalization that Brooke continuously endures at the hands of Ridge and Steffy, a profound paradigm shift occurs within her brilliant mind. The fog of past resentments begins to clear, replaced by a crystal-clear vision of the future. The tangled history involving Bill Spencer has cast a long, suffocating shadow over the Logan sisters for decades, breeding deep-seated resentment and heartbreaking division. Yet, in a moment of striking clarity and emotional maturity, Katie realizes that clinging to this ancient, destructive feud is entirely counterproductive. The true enemy is not her flesh and blood. The true enemy is the oppressive, arrogant establishment of Forrester Creations that continually diminishes the women of the Logan family. Katie makes the conscious, empowering decision to transcend the petty grievances of the past. She recognizes that Brooke's unparalleled industry experience, her legendary status as a fashion icon, and her fierce, untapped ambition are exactly the missing ingredients the burgeoning Logan brand desperately needs to transition into an unstoppable global empire. Driven by this newfound, revolutionary vision, Katie approaches Brooke with an unthinkable, earth-shattering proposition, one that threatens to shatter the fragile peace in Los Angeles fashion forever. She does not offer Brooke a mere consulting gig, a token board seat, or a superficial title designed to appease her ego. Katie offers Brooke the monumental role of Supreme Creative Director at Logan. This is a position of absolute, unquestioned creative authority, a magnificent throne from which Brooke can dictate the future of fashion without ever having to ask for Ridge's hesitant permission or endure Steffy's condescending sneers. It is an offer meticulously designed to appeal directly to Brooke's bruised ego, her undeniable talent, and her long-suppressed desire for true, unadulterated power in an industry she helped define. This proposition is far more than a simple, lucrative employment contract. It is a blatant, unapologetic declaration of war against Forrester Creations. By audaciously poaching the matriarch of the Forrester family and installing her at the absolute helm of their greatest, most aggressive rival, Katie is sending a chilling, unmistakable message to Ridge and Steffy. She is weaponizing Brooke's creative genius against the very company that took it for granted for so many years. The sheer audacity of this strategic move highlights Katie's breathtaking evolution from a cautious, emotionally driven executive to a ruthless, calculating visionary, perfectly willing to orchestrate a corporate coup that will echo through the annals of fashion history and leave her competitors trembling. To convince her sister to take this monumental leap of faith, Katie employs a masterful, deeply emotional psychological strategy. She speaks directly, piercingly to Brooke's deepest insecurities and her most painful, unfulfilled aspirations. Katie reminds Brooke of the agonizing decades she has spent living in Ridge's towering, suffocating shadow, constantly modifying her own brilliant ambitions to suit his comfort, constantly fighting tooth and nail for a mere seat at a table she helped construct. Katie paints a vivid, heartbreaking picture of Brooke's current reality at Forrester Creations, a beautifully gilded cage where her powerful voice is consistently silenced by Steffy's arrogant decrees and Ridge's cowardly, conflict-avoidant appeasement. She challenges Brooke to look deeply in the mirror and ask herself if she is truly satisfied with being a mere accessory. Katie passionately and eloquently argues that true, lasting glory cannot be passively given by men who fear powerful women. It must be boldly, unapologetically seized. She promises Brooke that at the Logan Fashion House, she will never again find herself begging for scraps of respect or fighting to have her ideas heard. Instead, she will be the undisputed visionary, the radiant guiding force of a brand that celebrates her brilliance rather than stifling it out of jealousy or nepotism. Katie assures Brooke that stepping entirely out of Ridge's shadow is the only way she will ever reclaim her radiant, undeniable aura and achieve her ultimate potential. It is a seductive, intoxicating vision of empowerment, offering Brooke the unprecedented chance to finally write her own legacy, completely free from patriarchal constraints. Faced with this life-altering proposition, Brooke is immediately thrust into a chaotic, agonizing whirlwind of internal conflict. On one hand, her deep, historical loyalty to Ridge and the complex life they have built together serves as a powerful, heavy anchor. She has spent years fiercely fighting for their marriage, often sacrificing her own professional desires and swallowing her pride to maintain a semblance of domestic harmony. The hallowed halls of Forrester Creations have always been a battleground for power, prestige, and pride, but the simmering tension between Steffy Forrester and Hope Logan has finally reached a catastrophic boiling point. For months, audiences have watched as Hope endured the systematic dismantling of her professional legacy. Steffy's ruthless decision to indefinitely pause the Hope for the Future line in favor of Eric Forster's couture collection was the initial strike. But the true psychological break for Hope occurred when her own mother, Brooke Logan, abandoned their corporate coup. Brooke's hypocritical pivot to praise Steffy, prioritizing her marriage to Ridge over her daughter's career, left Hope entirely isolated. Stripped of her brand, her maternal support, and her dignity, Hope was pushed into a corner. As we all know, a cornered animal is the most dangerous, and Hope's profound desperation has now birthed a darkness that no one in Los Angeles could have ever anticipated. The fashion world is suddenly rocked to its absolute core when a series of highly sensitive, explicit deepfake videos featuring Steffy Forrester violently flood the internet. The timing of this malicious digital assault is no coincidence. It occurs on the precipice of Forrester Creations securing a massive, multi-million-dollar international contract that Steffi has spent months negotiating. The videos, meticulously crafted to look entirely authentic, spread like wildfire across social media platforms and gossip blogs, instantly threatening to obliterate Steffi's pristine professional reputation and personal dignity. The sheer cruelty of the attack leaves the executive team completely paralyzed. For Steffi, a woman who prides herself on absolute control and unshakable strength, this public humiliation is a devastating blow. The calculated nature of the release suggests a predator who understands exactly how to inflict maximum damage at the most vulnerable moment. In the immediate chaotic aftermath of the leak, a furious and traumatized Steffi immediately searches for a scapegoat, and her crosshairs lock onto Melissa Dillon and Remy Price. The logic behind Steffi's accusation is grounded in recent, horrifying history. Remy Price is already known within the Forrester walls as a dangerous extortionist, the very man who utilized the exact same deepfake technology to terrorize and psychologically break Electra Forrester. Furthermore, the recent revelation that Melissa Dillon is secretly Remy's cousin makes her an easy target for Steffi's wrath. Steffi violently accuses Dillon of orchestrating the attack as a twisted form of revenge for the ongoing corporate hostility, believing that Dillon utilized her familial connection to Remy to execute the digital assassination. The narrative fits perfectly into the existing chaos, painting Dillon and Remy as the ultimate villains in this digital nightmare. However, the truth is far more sinister than a simple act of familial revenge. Enter Charlie Weber, Forrester Creations' quirky but surprisingly effective head of security. Tasked with uncovering the digital footprint of the deepfake upload, Charlie launches a meticulous investigation into the company's servers, security footage, and encrypted communications. While Charlie is often utilized for comedic relief, this situation requires his utmost expertise, and he delivers with chilling precision. By tracing the financial transactions used to pay for the offshore servers hosting the videos, and cross-referencing encrypted messages sent from a burner device within the Forrester building, Charlie begins to unravel a conspiracy that defies all logic. The digital breadcrumbs do not lead to Melissa Dillon's desk, nor do they originate from Remy Price's independent malice. Instead, they point directly to the most unthinkable suspect imaginable. The atmosphere in the CEO office is suffocatingly tense when Charlie Weber finally presents his conclusive findings to Ridge, Steffi, and Brooke. With trembling hands, Charlie displays the undeniable proof. Bank transfers routed through shell companies, IP addresses matching specific locations, and intercepted communications detailing the exact specifications of the deepfake videos. The mastermind behind the digital assassination of Steffi Forrester is not a rogue extortionist or a disgruntled assistant. It is Hope Logan. The revelation drops like a nuclear bomb in the center of the room. Hope, the perennial angel of the valley, the woman who has built her entire brand on a foundation of morality, kindness, and ethical purity, is the one who secretly hired Remy Price to destroy Steffi. The sheer magnitude of this betrayal leaves the room in a state of absolute, breathless shock. The transformation of Hope Logan from a beacon of moral superiority to a ruthless, vindictive manipulator is a psychological study in trauma and resentment. For years, Hope has played the role of the victim, enduring Steffi's arrogant decrees and Ridge's blatant favoritism with a forced smile and a bleeding heart. But the cancellation of her line and Brooke's devastating betrayal fundamentally broke her psychological constraints. Hope realized that playing by the rules of morality only resulted in her constant defeat. To defeat a monster, one must become a monster. In a moment of pure, unadulterated malice, Hope decided to utilize the darkest tools available to level the playing field. By hiring Remy Price, she not only sought to destroy Steffi's current international contract, but to permanently annihilate her rival's legacy, proving that the good girl persona was officially dead and buried. When Hope is finally dragged into the CEO office to face her accusers, the confrontation is nothing short of legendary. Steffi, trembling with a mixture of profound violation and volcanic rage, demands to know how Hope could stoop to such a depraved level. But instead of the tears and apologies everyone expects, Hope stands tall, her eyes completely devoid of the warmth that once defined her. Hope's justification is a chilling display of twisted logic. She coldly informs Steffy that this was simply a taste of her own medicine. Steffy systematically destroyed Hope's career, mocked her ambitions, and stole her dignity. Hope simply utilized a different weapon to achieve the same result. The venom in Hope's voice as she defends her actions solidifies the terrifying reality that the woman they once knew has been entirely consumed by her own hatred. For Brooke Logan, the revelation is a waking nightmare that shatters her entire worldview. Brooke has spent her entire life fiercely defending Hope, painting her daughter as the ultimate victim of Forrester cruelty. But as she listens to Hope coldly justify the deepfake attack, Brooke is forced to confront a horrifying truth. She helped create this monster. Brooke's recent betrayal, abandoning Hope's corporate crusade to secure her own marriage with Ridge, was the final catalyst that pushed Hope into the abyss. The realization that her own hypocrisy drove her daughter to commit a devastating, potentially criminal act leaves Brooke paralyzed with guilt and denial. She weeps openly, desperately trying to find the daughter she raised beneath the cold, calculating exterior of the woman standing before her. But the Hope she knew is gone forever. While Brooke drowns in maternal despair, Ridge Forrester is consumed by a protective, violent fury. Steffy is his ultimate priority, the daughter he has shielded and elevated above all others. Watching Steffy suffer the profound humiliation of the deepfake scandal completely severs any lingering affection Ridge ever held for Hope. In a moment of terrifying intensity, Ridge steps forward and makes a solemn, unbreakable vow. He looks Hope dead in the eye and promises that he will not rest until she is locked behind bars. Ridge declares that this is no longer a family dispute or a corporate rivalry. It is a vicious, premeditated crime. He promises to utilize every ounce of Forrester wealth and influence to ensure that Hope faces the maximum legal penalty, officially declaring a total and uncompromising war against his stepdaughter. The fallout from Hope's actions immediately triggers a catastrophic legal and moral war that threatens to engulf the entire fashion industry. Ridge makes good on his promise, bringing in a team of elite corporate lawyers and criminal investigators to build an airtight case against Hope for cyber harassment, defamation, and corporate sabotage. The impending legal battle casts a massive, dark shadow over the Logan legacy. For decades, the Logans have positioned themselves as the emotional core of the fashion world, but Hope's descent into criminality permanently stains their family name. The media catches wind of the internal warfare, turning the deepfake scandal into a global spectacle. The battle lines are drawn, forcing every character in Los Angeles to choose a side in a war that promises to leave no survivors.